Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. The SEC could drop the case as early as today. I've got the news, I've got the exclusive information, I've got the XRP chart, the biggest breakout potentially we've ever seen on XRP, and I've got my thoughts on Brad being in Congress yesterday. So let's get straight into it. If you are an XRP holder, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe as well. XRP is currently sat at $2.45. We have had one of the biggest breakouts we've probably seen in XRP's history. What am I talking about? Well, this symmetrical triangle has broken out over the last couple days, and it's one that's dating back to December of last year, January of this year. This accumulation phase has been going on for a while everyone else's coins or every other altcoin was breaking to new lows. XRP showed immense strength at $2. I mean, I was just saying this in the live show that we're doing right now. It's everyone is getting bored. People were selling out just a week ago. Just as we touched $2 again, everyone was so frustrated selling out. Not the proper XRP holders, not the people that knew what they were buying, but the ones that didn't know what they were buying. They were selling out. They were getting frustrated. They were saying XRP is a stable coin. Everyone from the outside started laughing at XRP holders again, saying XRP is going to go all the way back to 50 cents. You're going to get liquidated. All this stuff. But what I saw in the chart was immense strength. Altcoins were down 90, 80, 70%, and XRP was only down 50% for a brief moment, and then since has held $2. That was a healthy correction after that parabolic move up from 30 cents to $3.50. When the structure I saw, just even removing this upward slope, it was just $2 could not really, the buyers were so strong, whether it's institutional buyers or retail buyers, probably a mix of both. They didn't want they didn't let XRP drop below $2. So that showed immense strength for me. And what we've got going on right now is this massive accumulation that was going on while everyone else was getting bored and getting jealous and angry at the XRP holders, and laughing at the XRP holders. That was accumulation for retail and institutions, and now we're getting a breakout. But before I go any further, make sure that you do not buy or sell based on anything I say. This is my thoughts, my opinions only. I do not get paid to say any of this. This is just my thoughts, my opinions. So please do not buy or sell based on anything I'm saying. That would be a very unwise decision. This is for entertainment purposes only. So what's the target? Well, the target, very simply, is all-time highs. $3.50, $3.40. I mean, when you look at a structure like this, you target the previous highs of the symmetrical triangle. That's about $3.40. There are smaller targets throughout this move. What the main one we're looking at is $3.62. Then you're looking at possibly $3 as more of a psychological level. Then you're looking at all-time highs, and then you're looking at beyond. I'll tell you my full take profit levels. Remember, I'm not one of those people that come on and say we're going to get an $1,000 XRP. We're going to get a $22,000 XRP, or $589 is the off-chain value of XRP, or the Fed is using XRP. All of these rumors and fake news that's going around. I don't give you any of this. There's plenty of real good news to not make up fake news, and that's what we don't do. That's what we don't do that here on the channel. I am very bullish on XRP. I'm probably a bit biased to XRP's price action, but I'm not one of those people that will come out and say all of these random stuff based on no facts. So if you do appreciate that, some of you won't appreciate that, but I'm sure most of you will. Please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe. We go live. I mean, this is majoring a live show that we can't be any more real than we are. We make all our videos live. We go live 8 hours a day. So you know that we are real. So the targets really are all-time highs now for XRP. At the same time, I will say there is a chance we go back down to $2 if tariffs really go badly. So far, so good. The market seems to be pretty numb to it all by now. But if we get some really bad deals come out, or if we get an unwinding of the markets because of Japanese interest rates, for example, or we get a black swan event, always be prepared for lower prices, $2, $1.50, $1.50. If it goes lower, my stance is I'm just going to buy more. So I don't really care, but I'm always prepared for the risk as well. So the price action looks great. I'm really liking the strength. What was another positive was everyone was well, even I suggested it as a possibility as well. It could have been a sell the news event yesterday because nothing really came out. They didn't really ask Brad questions. They sort of avoided Brad with questions. Brad didn't get to say as much as I'm sure he would have liked to say. So I would have thought people might have taken that as bearish or sell the news. Nothing exciting happened, but no. The price action has stayed strong, which shows even more strength for XRP. And I think that's mainly because of two things. One was the good news that came out at the same time, which we'll be covering now, which is the Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse's Ripple partnership with BNY, the oldest bank in the US. I think that propped it up, and also this technical breakout, this structure that we're seeing on the charts. Because even if you don't like XRP and you're a trader, if you see a structure like this, well, the charts don't lie. So that's what we're looking at right now. XRP, just looking at the price now, no, it's all good. Okay, so let me just bring you that news that potentially propped it up. Let's watch this, then I'll tell you my full take profit strategy, and then the SEC news coming up straight after this. So let me unmute this and let me play this for you now.
Announcing just moments ago that it's partnering with BNY for BNY to be its primary custodian for its stablecoin. Joining us first on CNBC, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Wow, that's a nice shot, Brad. It suits you well. You're looking very, even presidential almost. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Brad Garlinghouse for president. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? XRP running the whole world at that point.
Good to be back on Squawk Box.
You need a custodian for your stablecoin. Why BNY?
Well, look, I think as the crypto industry has emerged from kind of the last administration where the industry was being attacked, working with the most trusted, the most well-regulated, and even the best capitalized partners is a way to continue to build trust in this system. And stablecoins at their core, by their nature, it's a dollar backed with a dollar in deposits. BNY Mellon has, for a very long time been amongst the most trusted partners out there for as a custody bank. So we're really pleased. We think it's indicative of the shift of tide where we've had headwinds for this industry are now becoming tailwinds. And I think we're going to see a lot of growth.
I mean, all the way back to that duel.
We need to remember just that point that we are in a completely different situation now. I mean, you look back 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. We're in a completely different situation regulatory wise. We've got 3 acts going through, and that's what I think was so bullish is, as I said in my thoughts yesterday, I don't think it was random the time Brad Garlinghouse went over to Senate. I think he decided to do it at that time because there's 3 acts going through, and those 3 acts are going to be very bullish for Ripple. The Clarity Act, the Genius Act, the Anti-CBDC Act, some more bullish than others for Ripple. But what it shows is Ripple has always been regulation first. They've always wanted to be abide by regulation and play within the limits. However, unfortunately, with previous regulations and the SEC, they went after them anyway, even though I'm not going to get into the whole case. It makes my blood boil. Anyway, now because they've been so focused on regulation, and now the regulation is here, Ripple is going to outperform anyone else because they've always been regulation first. They're prepared for regulation. They've been preparing for this. This is what they want. And once regulation's in, and Brad Garlinghouse obviously went and then spoke to some Senate members and gave his thoughts alongside some others, they're more likely to pass. They're more likely to have good amendments. And Ripple is going to be the big player in this. So 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we didn't have any regulation. We didn't know what we were playing by. We had an SEC case going on, and now we don't. And we're basically, if you look at 2017, I mean, that was over 8 years ago, we had nothing like this, completely different world, and XRP made all-time highs at $3.50. So right now, with all of this behind us and onto a whole new era, I think this was a completely pivotal moment when Brad Garlinghouse went to Senate. It just shows a completely different stance from regulators, from the world. Crypto is no longer being called a scam. There's going to be regulation. And now, 2017, $3.50, and we're sat here today not even at $3.50 yet. So it just shows that that there is a lot more left in XRP, and that's my opinion. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, next year. It's just my thoughts, but I really do think we're in a much more bullish situation than we were in 2017, and you have to look at the price action in 2017 to get excited for potentially what can happen in the future.
I think, right? Is that Bank of New York? I think, yeah, Alexander Hamilton. It goes back a ways, doesn't it?
That one.
We're going to watch until the end of this video, but straight after this, in a couple minutes time, I am going to give you my take profit zones. I'm going to give you the SEC news as well, and my thoughts on that. So do stay with us. Make sure you do hit the like button, subscribe as well to the channel. Let's see if we can get 500 likes on the video. That would be amazing. I've also got my X link down below, as well as Martyn, so please do go follow us on X for real-time updates as well.
Goes way back. I didn't put a number out there because I wasn't sure how many years it's been. But the BNY Mellon, we feel very lucky to be partnered with them, and we think, again, building trust for the whole industry and having RLUSD, our stablecoin, which just passed $500 million of market cap. We launched only about 6 months ago, so we're really pleased with that trend line and feel like this will only continue to build that trust.
It's small compared to some of your competitors, though, at this point. How does that factor into how you approach the whole stablecoin industry?
So the stablecoin industry is about $250 billion today. You know, many people think it'll be between 1 and 2 trillion in a handful of years. The growth behind it has been profound. We joined the market kind of late, partly because we were using stablecoins in our payment flows for our institutional customers. As you probably know, Ripple at its core has been a payments company and solving a cross-border payments problem. We use stablecoins, we use XRP where it makes sense. And stablecoins, when we were using that, we were a big part of activity for us. We were minting a lot, and we thought we can participate in this market, given our institutional background, given the fact we've leaned into compliance and been very regulated. We have over 60 global licenses to participate in these markets. So we feel like the growth ahead will serve us well as we continue to serve that institutional client.
This doesn't. You still want a banking license, right? Even though you have this deal with BNY.
Well, yes is the short answer. We have pursued and requested application to apply for an OCC license as well as a Fed master account. We think that the key here for crypto and the kind of decentralized finance, as many people call it, Ripple has been building bridges between traditional finance and decentralized finance. The world isn't going to be taken over by crypto. Instead, we think about how do we take the best of what crypto brings in facilitating faster, cheaper transactions and bring it to traditional finance. That's been at the heart of what Ripple has been focused on from the beginning. This is a step towards that, and certainly getting an OCC license, for those that have said that the crypto world wants to be unregulated, whatever, the opposite is true. You know, I'm here in Washington in part, as you referenced, there's a Senate Banking Committee hearing today. We are advocating as an industry to be regulated. And those that, like Ripple, who have stepped forward and said we want to get an OCC license, in addition to the licenses we have with the New York Department of Financial Services, it only continues to augment that very robust, very compliance-first, trusted partner so that we can continue to use these technologies to benefit consumers and businesses alike.
There was Brad
Minister,
live on the show. So that was what I think. I mean, it's a massive partnership with one of the biggest banks, oldest banks. And a lot of people say about RLUSD, well, it's overtaking XRP. That what's the use for XRP? But they don't quite understand. I'm not going to get into that whole debate right now. But the more RLUSD grows and it's on the XRP ledger, the more XRP grows as well. They work hand in hand. Remember, they were using USDC before for everything that they're going to use RLUSD for. It's not going to change anything. That's what they were using. What's it called? USDC for, and they just thought, well, why do we just keep printing 20% of USDC supply? We'll just make our own stablecoin for when we need to use stablecoins. So I'm just in the I've got to tell you about the take profit strategy, the SEC news, but we are making a video right now, but we've got Martyn calling in. So Martyn.
Good morning, Sensei. How are you? Lovely to have you here.
I'm doing well.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Am I in the middle of a video? Are you making a video
say
right now?
What you like to the people watching the video later.
I'm terribly sorry. I wasn't aware of that. Enjoy the video. Make sure you watch to the end. I'm sure Sensei will go like this with his fingers going, there's a click, there's a link here, and enjoy whatever it is he leads you to. But for those of you watching the video later and everybody watching live right now, slight change of plan. Sensei, I'm about to go live now, so wrap this up as quick as you can. I'm going to do a 15-minute update on the SEC XRP. I have some BNY information which I want to share with everybody this morning. I've just received some information, BNY from one of my sources. Very interesting fact just been shared with me. So I'm going to do a quick update, 15 minutes, and then we're going to go into our members event. It's not members only live stream. It's a members only chat today because I want to focus. I want to give a chance for the general subscribers to watch, but I want to focus on my members. I'm doing members reviews, your favorite stocks, full analysis, and I'm going to get through at least 2 or 3 this morning of your favorite stocks that you want me to go through the fundamental analysis for. But it will be viewable by everybody. It just will be a members only chat. So if you want to request a review or ask questions, you'll need to be members only today. But just before that, right after you finish now, for 15 minutes, I'm going to do an SEC XRP update, including some BNY information just been shared with me. Sensei, thank you, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Martyn. So let me give you my news first of all. So what is the news? Well, the news is in the newsletter every single morning. This won't take more than 5 or 10 more minutes, so we will get it all done ASAP. So yesterday, my thoughts: Ripple CEO urges Senate to pass crypto clarity legislation. So we all know about what happened yesterday. Garling House outlined 3 key legislative priorities: clarifying regulatory jurisdiction, enabling compliant pathways for crypto firms, and preserving US competitiveness in the $3.4 trillion digital asset market. Stressing that over 55 million of Americans use digital assets, he warned that regulation by enforcement risks surrendering blockchain leadership to overseas markets. Ripple, holding over 60 payment and crypto licenses globally, positioned itself in a compliance-first player and urged to Congress to act. Remember, that's what I've been saying. They are so ahead. They are a compliance first player, and that's why this is going to really benefit them. But today, SEC meeting fuel Ripple lawsuit speculation. This is what we've got for today. We've got a closed door meeting today. The Sunshine Act notices. This is what's going on at 2 p.m. Eastern time today. The news is in the newsletter. If you do want the newsletter, it is the first link in the description. I'll give it to you in the live chat right now. The news every single morning, Ripple related as well, XRP content in the newsletter basically every day, because there's a lot going on with Ripple and XRP. Do go and subscribe to the newsletter. So the US, this is what's going on, a confidential closed-door meeting. The US Securities and Exchange Commission will hold a closed-door meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on July the 10th, as noted in the official Sunshine Act notice. The agenda includes, this is all they can say, institutional and settlement of injunctive actions, resolution of litigation claims, and other enforcement matters, prompting speculation in the crypto community. Although the SEC did not name specific cases, the timing has drawn attention, given the ongoing legal battle with Ripple Labs over the status of XRP. Legal observers and crypto traders are watching closely for signals that the SEC may withdraw its appeal, a move that could shift the trajectory of the high stakes case. Any settlements or procedural pivots in the Ripple case could set a significant precedent for the US regulatory stance on digital assets. A favorable resolution for Ripple may solidify XRP's standing and catalyze broader market reactions across crypto assets. Investors should watch for formal statements from the SEC and implications that could be immediate and far-reaching. So we are expecting an update from the SEC, whether we get it today or the next few days or the next weeks. This is happening now. This will put an end to this whole SEC drama. This will solidify XRP is not a security, nothing that anyone else has. And this is called the Sunshine Act notice. It's happening today, and I've told you what they're probably going to be discussing. I'm about 90% sure. If they're going to be discussing institutional and settlement injunctive actions, well, they're going to be talking about the Ripple case. So be prepared for that. That is the news that we have. Remember, XRP, I won't have time to give you my full analysis, but as long as you're subscribed, you will always get my full analysis. And we're about to go over to Martyn. So my short-term levels are $2.62, then $3, $3.50, and then I'll be laddering out at all-time highs around $4.70, $5.30, $6.40, $7.40, $8.50, and about $11 is, I think, probably as high as it can go this cycle, in my opinion, and I'll certainly be taking most of my profits before we reach there. And then I'll buy back in the bear market and do it all over again. So thank you very much for watching this video. There'll be 2 videos up here for you to watch. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the newsletters. First link in the description. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.